Hello, welcome back to my haunted library and welcome to my Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge wrap-up video. This month really flew by. I can't believe it's March 1st when I'm recording this, and I really kind of lost an entire week last week, which is why I didn't put up a video, because I had stomach flu or something horrible. It could have been food poisoning, I don't know, but I was sick for like 5 days and it was awful. So I'm feeling, back to normal, but I did not finish all of my own challenges for this reading challenge, but that's okay. Because as I'm communicating with my co-hosts for this challenge, we're all busy and we all kind of said that's why we like this challenge, because it's laid back and you don't have to complete the entire thing to pass go or to collect $200. But because these were my prompts, I do feel like I owe a little bit of consistency. So I'm going to give myself another week to do the last two challenges, which was what I had planned to do before I got sick, which was to visit a Gothic place, a location, and also to concoct some kind of meal or special drink, because I wasn't eating or drinking anything except water, and barely that. So I'll get to it. This is my plan anyway. But I also wanted to name the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge winner of the Gothic giveaway, which is the lovely pen set, plus another few goodies that I'll throw in for good measure. So we had quite a few people enter that giveaway. So let's announce that winner right now. So congratulations to the winner, and in order to claim your prize, contact me at reginashauntedlibrary@gmail.com. No apostrophe in that email address, and I'll also put it below. Just contact me and I will take it from there about how to get your prize to you. So congratulations. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you write some awesome letters with your writing set. And speaking of letters, I did receive 2 letters. Part of the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge was to write Victorian style letter, meaning you can use pen and ink, fancy stationery, wax seal, which I love. So I did receive 2 letters. Now some more may be coming, but let's take a look at what this is. So we have my trusty letter opener. I'm going to go right through this wax seal. Now I know who this is from. I see his seal. It says E for Edie Lewis. And his turned out a lot neater than mine. I dripped wax all over the place, including on my fingers and on my desk when I did this, but it was fun. So we have some nice crisp stationery. Oh, wow. Okay, he wrote a very long letter with very small, very neat, Edie, handwriting. So I'm not going to read this aloud, but I will save this for later. And I love this part of the challenge, and I think we should do it every year because it's conserving something that's a lost art, let's be honest, and that is beautiful letter writing. Now this is from my friend D.L. Tillery, and she also sealed hers with some gold seals. D.L. has a very romantic spirit, and that's why she's part of this challenge every year along with my other co-hosts. I like this red stationery with the gold embossed. Ooh, we have deckled edges, guys. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, she wrote in a lovely red ink. Ooh, this is like really, really nice. It's like a linen stationery with the deckled edge, like a burned edge almost. And she also has her gold seal there. Ever yours in shadows. Oh, nice. All right, I'm going to save both of these letters then later at my leisure. So I sent all of my co-hosts, Edie Lewis, Elizabeth Sagewood, and Aphrodite Lee, and author D.L. Tillery. I think I sent them all letters. Hopefully they received them. But this is something that we can keep going throughout the year, and I'd like to. I know it takes time to write a letter, but there's something that makes it that much more special. I'm also a big card lady. I'm the Hallmark card lady. I love going into the Hallmark store. We do have one at our mall because you have a much better variety of cards, but I just love going to the grocery store or the drugstore and finding some lovely cards and send out. I do try to keep that up. And let's face it, it's a lot nicer to receive that than an email, or a text. It's hard to say, oh, I'll just read this text later. It doesn't really quite work that way. Some people are more disciplined about it. Anyway, so moving on, I did want to remind everyone that the new Bookworms is out. Isn't that a cool cover? And we're selling them, but we still have plenty left. So I will link it below. Some of the issues, I think we've already sold out 3 of the past issues, but we're just continuing to go with this. I met James for coffee a few days ago. We talked about our future plans for Bookworms. So we're having a great time with this. And we plan to go to some zine festivals. He's been to a few, but I want to go to some as well. So I thought I would do a bit of a wrap up talking about what I've read for the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge. I read 4 books, and that's pretty much my average, a book a week, and I'm fine with that. Anyway, here's what I read, and I do like the choices I made for this month because it's such a wide variety from old to new. So I reread The Monk by Matthew Gregory Lewis. Actually, it's the audiobook, and to be honest with you, I still have a few chapters to go because it's quite long. And I don't put it on like high speed. I listen at the regular speed. And I've been doing it during my daily walks. And because I missed a week, I missed a few chapters at the end. But wow, what an incredible story, written in 1796. And I was thinking about how these stories are all very thematically similar. Of course, I mean, The Monk, it's described as a romance, but in a classic sense of romance, not what really we think of romance today, but romance is more of overwrought emotion versus, like a rom-com is how we think of romance today, or romance books like Harlequin romances. This is much more about overwrought feelings, sexuality, rape, murder, underground vaults, and a priest with a terrible, terrible fall. I'm really enjoying it. And to me, it's like reading a comedy. I've laughed out loud more from The Monk than I have in all of these other books. So really enjoy it and highly recommend it if that's your taste. And then still in the same century, we have The Mysteries of Udolpho by Anne Radcliffe, a classic, again, romance story in that same vein of Gothic romance. And I only read the first book, or the first volume. It's about a 700 or 800 page book, rather. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to get through all of it, but I read the first volume, and I will continue at my own pace reading this. And maybe I'll finish up next year, God willing, for the next Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge. I'm always reading Gothic throughout the year, but I really enjoyed this. And it's so different from what we think of a romance now. I mean, it's not like a book I'll get to in a minute, but it's not like, at least not yet, like a lot of like sex scenes or anything. I mean, the heroine and the hero, her love interest, haven't even kissed yet. They've done a lot of sighing and crying and hand-holding, but that's it. And then I read a really fun book along with my buddy E.D. Lewis, who's one of the co-hosts, and that is a Victoria Holt classic, The House of a Thousand Lanterns. I have quite a few Victoria Holts, and I have read a few, and I always enjoy them. They're very well done. Every Gothic romance has a little bit of a formula to it, but this takes it into a different place. This is partly takes place in England and also in Hong Kong. Now, it is looking at Chinese culture through a very British colonial lens, so I'll put that out there. That could be offensive to some people, perhaps, but with some of the cliches about like the Chinese. But I really, really enjoyed this one. It's about a young woman who marries and falls in love with a bad boy, and then the whole book you're trying to figure out, is he really, really bad? Is he really maybe evil? Or is he just irresponsible and charismatic? It goes in a lot of different directions, and it's rich. Her writing is always completely entertaining. It's a page turner. I think Edie really enjoyed it too. So yes, I do recommend this one. I recommend any book by Victoria Holt. I think this is the 4th one I've read. I really have enjoyed them all. So you might want to check that one out. And then the last book I read, I actually finished it just this morning because I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So this is really new, it's, for me anyway, 2021. I got this at Barnes & Noble because I was looking for something new. I wanted to read something new and not just my old stuff, which I always tend to, the 1970s and 80s is kind of my sweet spot for these types of books. But I wanted to, branch out a bit. So I got this Gothic Hannah by Rue Nix. First of all, I said this in my last video, this book has a great aesthetic. Let's see who published this. Tor. Okay, Tor. Tor is a big, well, mostly fantasy, but also horror publishing. But each chapter has a nice photograph of a Gothic image and a quote from a famous Gothic work of literature like Wuthering Heights, Dracula, and Radcliffe, and so on and so forth. But this book is a far cry from the Anne Radcliffe. It's probably closer to The Monk, but The Monk is not exactly sexually explicit. This book is very sexually explicit, so I will put that out there. It doesn't offend me at all. I mean, I'm cool with it. But yeah, it was like really kind of pornographic at times. But in a way that a lot of romances now. This is not really my style in a lot of ways, but I enjoyed it. It was a little bit heavy on sex, light on story. I'd probably give this one 3 stars. It has a mystery. It's about this young woman who goes to a kind of a fantasy academy. So it's one of those like academy stories in the mountains, and she's like this special psychic, gothy girl with lavender eyes. It's a little bit a cliche that way. She falls in love or in lust with her professor, and they start having this wild affair, and that takes place, on top of the teacher's desk, in the library, up in the castle, all over the place. But it's done in a way where it's kind of like through her sexual awakening and her I don't know, there's a lot of stuff about, her sexual pleasure in this. It's not just him using her, although, the school marm in me was like, what is she messing around with this guy for, It's a little problematic, I guess you could say, but it was fun. I think it's an entire series. Now, will I rush out and continue reading this? No, but I might pick up the next one at some point, maybe next year. It's that kind of book. So I liked it more than I have most newer stuff of this ilk that I've read recently. So it was fun. It's the writing itself is not that. It's a little like Wattpad-ish, and I say this as someone who won a Wattie Award, so I'm right there with it. I mean, if I read about her nipples pebbling, I never would think of using that word as a verb, but if I read that line about her nipples pebbling one more time, I think I would lose it. But if you like this kind of thing, you think you'll really enjoy this one. So that is my Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge wrap up. Not a bad month considering everything, and I'm not done yet as far as trying to do those last couple prompts. So as far as what I'm going to be reading as we move into March, I did buy Marian Faithfull's autobiography. I'm going to read that, and then I'll probably just read whatever I feel like, do a little mood reading for the month of March. Nothing too spectacular, but I'll be reporting back here, of course, on all of that. So please let me know if you read any Gothic works this past month, or if you plan to in the future. I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by my haunted library, and I'll see you soon. Bye.